we're going to look at our team in the attacking phase, and the focus is on positioning to force indecision. So what do we mean by that? Big part of our program is being positioned behind lines of pressure in between defenders, so behind and between. And then we're also going to look at the movements into these areas. So we have static positioning, so we're just standing and we're occupying these positions. And then we're also looking at the movements to come into these pockets of space that are behind lines of pressure in between defenders. Why are we focused on this? Is we want to really disorganize and unsettle the opposition. So can we put ourselves into place and move into places that forces them to be disorganized, little gaps in the organization, a little miscommunication that gives us these small moments of advantage. And then the second one being to create these spaces and advantages so that we can score goals. So we want to create the space. We want to create these moments where we have maybe better 1v1 players, or we have better position players that we can use these to help create more goal scoring chances. So we'll start with a video. And as you watch this, we start with a throw in. We're going to switch the point as we're starting to pick up some of the tactical pieces and structures of the opposition. This is a team that's going to play from a 4-1-3-2, so 2 strikers. And you can start to see what we're going to highlight as far as positioning and what it does from an indecision perspective. All right. So the first one to look at is here. So we've cycled the ball out. Our center back is on the ball out of our back 3 in a 3-4-3. And we start with the role of our 2 holding midfield players. So the opposition is playing with 3 in their second line. And our 2 holding mids' task was to try to position themselves in between those 3 players. So they're behind the first line of pressure of their 2 strikers, and they're sitting in between those 3. The goal being, can we keep all 3 players busy worrying about our 2? We're also really good in this game playing through the central channel, which keeps everything a little bit more narrow. So our center back is able to find one of our holding midfield players, arriving into that space behind lines of pressure in between defenders. Player gets enough pressure where she doesn't feel like she can turn. She's able to find the free player. So remember, we have a 3v2 in the first line. Finds our left center back. She's now able to progress. But I also want to look at the numerical situation. So it is a 3 versus 4, or a 4 versus 3 in our advantage. We have our 2 wing backs and we have our 2 center mids versus their line of 3. So again, but if you look at where they're positioned, we're sitting in between the players. The 2 holders are behind lines of pressure. Now the wing backs are in a good position because especially the left center back is ready to be able to break that second line of pressure on her first touch. And our right-sided wing back is already in behind the line of pressure and sitting in that space. Left center back carries forward. And now our left wing back starts to stretch and get in behind. Now the next piece is our left winger drops in. So we play more like a box in midfield, and this player has the ability to come in like an attacking mid. So in this case, the left winger comes in, and now you have that isolated right midfielder from the opposition. She's looking at the ball, not quite sure what is her role at this point. So we've got a player drop down. She's trying to figure out whom is she going to step and press, and our left center back has the time and space to carry forward. And this is about the moment about release. Now, I think this is where we talk about some of these movements and positioning that causes indecision. So you see our left wing back is in the picture. That left winger is still sitting in that same space. Now that movement by the left winger has occupied the right center back, the holding mid, and the right mid are all frozen in this moment. And now we're talking about the creation of space and advantages. This creates a pretty big space for our striker to run to. Now in a 1v1. With their left center back. So now the left center back is chasing our striker across, and now we have that advantage. Like for our players, if we can get into 1v1s, 30, 40 yards from goal, we'd be pretty happy in that space. Also, it's important to note that the position of the left wing back was important. She was always available to release the feet from the left center back, and so their right back went tight. This left wing back in this game had a lot of success playing forward. So that right back was tight, kept her out of the picture, and left a 1v1 for our striker. So we'll watch again. Obviously we would have preferred this to end up in a good moment and a finish, but anytime you can get our striker on their only center back left in a 1v1, we would be happy with the quality of that attack. Again, just enough to try to draw him and pinch him. Now we're moving again. Here comes that arrival movement. Pulls center back out, and boom. And credit to the left center back on our end to be able to recognize that space and play.